Hey everybody, this is Shane. I'm reviewing the USA Spec BT45 Hon3. This is a Bluetooth module that allows you to add Bluetooth functionality, music functionality to your vehicle if you already have an XM tuner present. Makes it easy, and it has a couple other options as well. I am installing it in my 2012 Acura MDX. Quick rundown on the review before I get started. Absolutely love the product. My only problem with it was that I originally ordered one from Amazon. Within the month window, the Bluetooth functionality kind of going on the fritz. It was switching back and forth between aux. USA Spec does not provide warranty support to Amazon purchases. It only provides warranty support to Crutchfield purchases, which is their authorized online retailer. So while I originally purchased it cheaper through Amazon, about $30–40 cheaper, I went ahead and returned it. I was still within the 30-day window because it was broken. It did not work. Other than that, when it worked, it was great, and I got my new one from Crutchfield, and that's the one I'm going to be installing with this one right now. Totally awesome. I love it for two reasons. One, it allows you to keep both the original stock Bluetooth phone calling functionality for your car and then also run simultaneously music over the Bluetooth 45 Hon3 module that you plug in, and allows you to hot swap back and forth between those very easily. I also go with this over a regular Bluetooth module that you can buy for like $10 and plug in through a headphone jack, because it needs power, and even if it's battery powered, you're gonna have to charge it eventually, and I didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted it to be hardwired in and good to go. And then it also allows you to put some of the text info on the screen and also control the songs through the buttons on both your steering wheel and on your stereo. So for those reasons is why I like this product. I am going to continue to use it again, besides that one minor hookup. Definitely would recommend it for anyone else, and if you take a few minutes to watch the installation video that follows, I'll go through some of the things that I did and some of the other tips that I came across that might be able to help you out. One more thing I wanted to add, two things. One, the phone does not always immediately connect as soon as I get in the car to the receiver. Sometimes it does, and sometimes I have to manually connect it. A lot of the stock ones that come, it connects manually, automatically, every time. And this one, sometimes it connects, sometimes it doesn't. Not a big factor. I just manually connect it. It works, no problems. That always works. Even the hands-free link that I have here doesn't always connect immediately. Sometimes I have to fidget with it for a little bit to get it to connect. And two, about the text data. So I can never actually get the text data come up on the screen on demand. It comes up when the song starts. It shows me about half of it. If it runs over, it doesn't show the full thing. And then other than that, I can't get it to come back up on demand or on cue. It always comes up on its own when I first start the song, and it shows up right there, but I can't get it to come back up on its own. A lot of people want this because of the text data functionality. It does work. It is there, but I can't get it to be perfect. I don't need it to be perfect. I just like to see it one time. I'm good to go. And so again, it works for me. This is a review and an installation tutorial of the USA Spec BT45 Hon3. I will be installing this in my 2012 Acura MDX without navigation. A quick look at what comes inside the package. You've got your product manual, you've got your actual Bluetooth module, this little black box right here, and then you also have two cables and a microphone. This first cable here is the CAS H3X. This is the cable that I will be using to connect in, again, a 2012 Acura MDX without navigation. Attached to this also comes the CAS H3T. For my install, I will not need this, so I just went ahead and unplugged it. They came plugged in. Just grab the clips on the side and the clip at the top, pull it apart. You'll be good to go with that. And then this also comes with a microphone that you could use on the USA Spec BT45 Hon3. I will not be using the microphone or the phone capabilities on this Bluetooth module. I'm instead going to use the hands-free link, which is the stock Bluetooth phone module that comes with the Acura MDX already in it. It just doesn't play music, which is why I'm adding this to its setup, so that I can have this playing the music and the hands-free link doing the phone at the exact same time simultaneously, and you don't have to worry about anything else. So the first thing you need to do in the 2012 MDX is remove this cargo hatch cover. Basically just lift it up and then pull straight up. It slides straight out. I'm just going to go ahead and pop this right up here. Next, you're going to remove the jack and all those tools that come out there. Just turn those two switches, pull that out, and you can slide that up here. All right, for the next step, you have two options. You need to get this cargo mat out. So you can do one of two things. You can either just pull this out and slide it around these receivers for the top lid, or you could take a Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew the screws and then pop those out. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Phillips head screwdriver and just unscrew those and pop those out. All right, I've removed the two hinges. Again, they just sit right here, and there are Phillips head screws in them. Undo the Phillips head screws, and then just pull these straight out. That'll allow you to remove the liner. And again, you could just take these two and just put them in the cup holder right here with the two screws so that you don't lose them. So now we need to pull the liner completely out. The next step, again, you have two options. You can either slide it out from underneath this skid plate, or you can lift the skid plate up to be able to freely remove the liner and not run the risk of ripping this liner. It's made of a fabric, and obviously the fabric is not as strong as the plastic. If you want to remove the skid plate, just go ahead and kind of stick your fingers underneath either side, or use a screwdriver to get under there, or pry it, and it'll pop up. There's just little plastic brackets underneath that hold it in. I've already popped it out, so I can just go ahead and lift it up, and I can put this right up here, and then I can pull this liner out. Again, if you don't want to take the skid plate off, hold the liner like this and kind of just use an angle and maybe stick your fingers underneath, and you'll be able to pull it out. You can see there's a little line and a little ridge where that liner, or the skid plate, fits right over top of that liner so that it stays taut. So now that we have the liner clear, we want to go ahead and locate the XM module, which is where we will piggyback the Bluetooth module into. So underneath the subwoofer here in the passenger rear compartment, go ahead and just look right under there, and there it is. I've got a flashlight here so you can see it. That white plug right there with the black wiring harness, that's the one that we're going to want to unplug. That to the right is the antenna for the XM module. We do not want to touch that, but this one right here, so all you got to do is go ahead and stick your hand up underneath there. There's a little tooth on top of where you want to see. So the tooth is on top of here. Go ahead, and when you find that tooth, press your thumb down on it, and you'll hear it click a little. And then once you got it click, give it a little bit of force, and it'll be able to pop right out. So again, you can see that tooth right there is what keeps it in. So you want to apply pressure so you can get it out, but not pull too hard, so that if it isn't pulled, that you're going to break it, because you need that tooth to be able to keep a secure connection. So at this point now is when we're going to turn our attention to the actual Bluetooth module itself. I do want to point out I've done one thing. I went ahead and added Velcro pads to the bottom of the module, and then right into the bottom underneath the XM module as well. That way that the Bluetooth module isn't just rattling around back here as I'm driving down the road. You can either use Velcro like I did. I've seen people who use zip ties and put it up underneath the XM module, or did Velcro underneath the XM module. I just went ahead and put it here. That way it was easy to access, and we could get everything that we needed. If you want to turn to your manual, page 5 is going to show you how to set your dip switches. Your dip switches are these little guys right there on the right side of the rear end of it there. And as you can tell, down is on, up is off. So for this one, I have a satellite or XM button, and I hear the channel or XM preview, which means I have the tuner, and which means I'm already going to use the cable that I've already agreed upon. So that is 1 down, 2 off, 3 on, 4 off. And again, the downs are on. So at this point, I want 1 to be on. I want 2. Let's go ahead. So we'll go ahead and do that. And so we'll take 2, and we'll push 2 up to the off position. I accidentally pressed 3 to the off, so we'll press 3 back down, and we'll press 4 up. So that is 1 on, 2 off, 3 on, 4 off. And when we double check our manual, that's again what we want: 1 on, 2 off, 3 on, 4 off. So that is your correct dip switch position settings if you're going to do it on a 2012 MDX with no navigation, as well as a lot of the other vehicles that have the XM tuner. All right, one last look at the module before we pop it in and start getting it plugged in. Do want to make a note, that is your mic input right there. So if you did want to include the microphone, if you were going to use this as your phone setup, you would plug the microphone in right there. It's your standard 1/8 inch mini headphone jack that you would plug in there, and then you'd have to run the microphone up to the front of the car or wherever you were going to run that to. Underneath this sticker right here, you have a USB output and an aux input. So this is basically just another aux input. I'm not going to be using this because I already have an aux input that came stock on the 2012 MDX without navigation. You can use this aux input though if you want to make like a separate input for your rear, for tailgating, you know, whatever, let your imagination run wild. You can do that, and up on the stereo, control the car. Within this module, you can switch between the Bluetooth function and the aux function, and you can do that up in the stereo. This USB right here is a USB output for charging only. It does not allow you to connect to your iPhone, iPod, whatever, and be able to control music through that. No music is going to transfer through this USB if you wanted like an extra USB hookup. This is strictly for charging. I'm not going to be using that at all, so I'm just going to leave the sticker right on there, and we are now good to go. All right, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna take your CAS H3X. Again, you do not need that other cable that we talked about, the CAS H3T for my setup, so we're just gonna go ahead and toss this to the side. We're gonna take this black side right here and plug that in where it says 2 radio on the back of the module. So on the back of the module where it says 2 radio, we're gonna go ahead and there's a little tooth on the top, so you're gonna go ahead and just plug that in until you hear that snap, and once it's snapped, it's in there secure and it's good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and connect up the harnesses. Again, we've already connected the back side of the module to the black connector for the CAS H3X, which is this black cable that came with your module. On the other side, we have 2 pigtails. We have a female end right there with the holes, and then we have a male end there with the male prongs inside. So this XM wiring harness right here is a female side that's got the holes in it. So we're gonna go ahead and take our male side from this connector and we are going to connect this up. Again, it only fits one way, so go ahead, line it up, push it in, and you will hear it snap and you'll be good to go with that. And basically now in essence what we're doing is we are rediverting the XM signal into this cable, and then we're splitting it, and it's going to go to this back into the XM module so you can still have XM on XM2, and then it's also going to go into the module so that you can have Bluetooth on Bluetooth, or on XM1 you can have the Bluetooth functionality. So now you're going to take this other side right here and find the side with the tooth. There's the tooth, that's the side that goes up, and now that is going to go, I will show you, up into this white socket right there. And again, do it so that the tooth is up. Now just go ahead and press in for it, and go ahead and just push that in, and you'll hear it snap. And that tooth is now locked in there, and if you yank on it just a little bit, it should not come out. We've got all that settled now, so we're going to go ahead and clean this up and tuck this in. So what I like to do is I just want to tuck this Bluetooth module underneath the cord here, and I want to leave it so that the outputs and the dip switches are facing out toward me in case I were to need to access it for whatever reason. I don't foresee needing to do that, but it's always good to think ahead. So we're going to go ahead again. I already put my Velcro down, so I'm just going to put my Velcro up there, and this cable I can just kind of tuck it back under here and it'll fit nice and tight. I left the zip ties, or excuse me, the twisty ties already on the cable because I knew I wasn't going to need that much of a run, so I left that all cleaned up already. You can add more to it if you want. I just went ahead and tucked it up there. It's not going anywhere. I'm not worried about it. And again, the module is Velcroed down, so I'm not worried about this going anywhere, and that is all locked in place. And just check your connections one more time to make sure everything's all pressed in, and then we'll go and test it up front to see how it works. All right, we are now inside my 2012 MDX, again without navigation, so this is how it looks without navigation. And you can see as soon as I turn the vehicle on, it already switched over to XM, and you can see the Bluetooth is there. So if I were to press XM again, that would take me to XM2, and I don't subscribe to XM, so that is just showing XM preview. But if you do subscribe to XM, the great thing about this is you can keep XM on channel 2 and still have your XM functionality while having Bluetooth on channel 1. So when I switch over to the XM1, it tells me that it's connected, and I can see it says Bluetooth. And if you remember, I said that you can switch between Bluetooth and aux. There is an aux input on it. When you press that arrow that way, on mine it's the skip button, and that changes it to the aux mode. You can see that it switched to aux. So we're going to go ahead and go back to Bluetooth because that's where we want it to be. And so far so good. Let's go ahead and get the phone connected and test it out. All right, so go ahead and make your way to your settings. On my phone, I have a Pixel 2, so I go to Connected Devices, and then we'll go to our Bluetooth settings, and we'll see that my phone has already connected to the hands-free Link R, which is the Acura stock hands-free phone Bluetooth capability in my car. And that's so that we're going to do that one, so that handles just our phone. And when you click on the gear, you see that I have phone calls and contact sharing turned on for that device. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click pair new device, and we should see BT45 Hon show up. So we're going to click on that and let it do its thing while it pairs.
Connected.
And you can hear that in the background where my stereo told me
that it is connected. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the gear, and we are going to see where it says phone. We're going to turn that off because I want phone calls to stay being handled through the hands-free link stock on the Acura. The way Bluetooth handles your devices, you know, you can have an Apple Watch, you can have a smartwatch, you can have you know, a tile, speaker, Bluetooth headset, all that stuff connected, and there's all different profiles that that data runs over. So your media audio and your phone calls are on 2 different profiles. So the great thing is you can tell your phone to send all your phone calls to one Bluetooth device and do all the media audio to your other Bluetooth device. So for this one, I'm also going to turn off contact sharing because we just don't need that to be on at all. And you can see it says BT45 Hon connected, and then underneath hands-free link R, which again is my Acura stock hands-free link, you could see phone calls, contact sharing, both turned on. I had already connected that to connect to your car via Bluetooth that way. Just go ahead and check your phone manual, or I'm sure there's a YouTube video that shows it for your exact model, how to make it work. So let's go ahead and test it out now. And now when you look at your Bluetooth settings, just the main page, you should see the top says BT45, whatever order they're in, it doesn't matter. Hon connected, no phone, which is what you want to see, and then hands-free link R, which again is my stock Bluetooth phone connected. So both of those will say connected, and they're both ready to go. All right, before we get music going, I want to go ahead and take a second to point out the fact of why I went ahead and did this. So inside my 2012 MDX, I do have an audio input jack right there where I could plug it in. So you can easily buy just a $10 little Bluetooth receiver that plugs directly right in there, and then it basically does the exact same thing. You save yourself about $150. The difference is that Bluetooth receiver that you plug in there needs to have power somehow. So you've got to run some sort of power, and in my car there is not a jack inside of here, so that would require me running a cord through here, which I don't really want to do. If you want to, you can run a separate jack. If you know how to do that, you could split off this one or one off the back and get it in the middle. I chose not to do that. It's easier just to put that in. 2, the other reason why this is great, and probably the #1 reason, is because if you use the Bluetooth adapter that just goes in there, all you're doing is just going out to audio at that point. It's a headphone jack going in. You don't have any control in regards to showing the song data on your screen, or being able to control anything from your stereo or from your steering wheel. On my car, on the steering wheel, I can use the channel button here to go back and forward through songs. It's the same, I can use the tune knob here to go back and forth through songs. Right now it's not doing anything because I don't have anything running, but that is the one upgrade about using the BT45 Hon3 as compared to just a standard Bluetooth adapter that you would plug in via headphone jack. It allows you to have the display text, and it allows you to control the song. At least on my car, it should on most cars, with the tune knob, and then up on the steering wheel with the channel back and forth. And basically what that is you just be controlling the XM channels. As you can see, that's all changing up. When there's music connected, you'll see how it will skip back and forward. There's no XM connected right now, so that's not working. Okay, so here you go now seeing I am playing music through SoundCloud on my phone, and it is streaming directly to the car. I can control the volume this way. I can also control the volume on the side of my phone. As a general rule of thumb, I always leave this volume about 3/4 to full, and then control the rest of the volume from the way there. So the great thing about this now, I can use the tune to spin here, and that's going to change the song as it comes up. And you can see where it gives you the text info. I am not ever able get it to show me the text info more than once, just at the beginning of the song, and it kind of cycles through. I could press title and go through these different things, and it won't show anything. It just shows it as it cycles through, and it also cycles through saying Pixel 2 and whatnot. And not only can I use the tune here, but then I can also use the let me try to do this. I can use, when I press channel here, that changes the song on my phone as well by using the channel up and down button. And you can see over there it also changes, showing up on the screen. And this is also great here because so I have the audio running over the USA Spec BT45 Hon3 Bluetooth module, but at the same time I can still use hands-free link on my phone. I press here and it automatically kicks over to hands-free link on the Acura, and that shows up right here. And so I can use both the original phone functionality of it and then I can still use the audio, and it will automatically kick back over. I just got to press play, and we'll kick it back over to XM1 because it kicked over to XM2, and press play, and you're good to go. I've experienced so far, sometimes it kicks it over to XM2 upon coming back, sometimes it kicks it over back over to XM1. Really not that big of a deal. You can press XM1 and get back over. It still gives you the full functionality, and I haven't noticed a specific enough pattern to be able to diagnose what's going on with it.
Let's go ahead and now clean everything up and put everything back. So again, we're just going to check to make sure that we're secure back there and everything is all good. That is all good. So we'll take our liner and just do everything in reverse. So liner goes down first, and we'll go ahead and line that up where it is. That's all set. At this point, I am going to go a little out of order now, and I'm going to go ahead and just install the hinges first. That way I make sure that these sit down perfectly again. If you did install the hinges, just go ahead and put that back down. If you did not deinstall the hinges or uninstall them, go ahead and just slide the liner back around it and slide it back under the kick plate. So the hinges are back in, everything is all good. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the skid plate and reinstall the skid plate. Again, if you did not uninstall the skid plate, you would just take the liner, go underneath the skid plate, and then wrap around the hinges and do that. If you did take off the skid plate, the one thing you want to keep a close eye on is make sure that you take the lip of the skid plate and put it back underneath the rubber seal that goes around the entire vehicle. So make sure that is down underneath the whole way. See, the skid plate goes back underneath the liner the whole way across. So you want the liner to be on top, and that keeps the seal to keep water out of your car. At any point, you may have to stick a flathead screwdriver back underneath there to catch it and pull it back out. Once you have the liner all ready to go of the skid plate, just go ahead and push down on the skid plate in all the spots where the plastic screws were. And you should be good to go, locked in. And now the liner tray is back in, and everything is good to go. One last step. So go ahead and take that jack plate and put the jack plate back down here, line it up, and twist the screws so that that goes on. And then you can take your tray, put your tray back into the hinges, close it down, snap it down, you're ready to go.